Tom. Okay, so why don't you tell me a little bit about this idea you have for your college?
Well, one of the largest populations of incoming students we have at Merced College are students who come in at about 2 levels below transfer in English, math, or both. And historically, we've had far less success in getting them to a completion of a program of study of some type or completion of a plan than we've had with, say, students who come in at 1 level below or students who come in college ready. And I think one of the reasons we've had that problem is because of, it's not because we don't have a lot of programs and activities designed or services designed to help those students. It's that there hasn't been a sufficient coordination of those programs and services. And then equal to that, and possibly even more important, an evaluation of how those services perform, both individually and in where there are collections or 1 or 2 programs for the same student together. And so my plan, in part, is to create a central academic services. Well, it's an idea, not a building at this point, because as I said earlier, nobody's giving me $10 million. But if anybody listening has $10 million, so conceptually, we've begun to create the idea of an academic success center. We have a study central, we have a tutorial. They're not housed in the same building. And in the past, they had not worked cohesively. And now, starting this year, they've been working together. We have faculty who work in both places, we have the same training program for the peer guides in Study Central as we have for the tutors in the tutorial center, as well as for our SI leaders. So, and we've been really working on not only having that training program, but improving it, evaluating it, looking at ways we can make it better. In the future, we're even hoping that we can include our what are called college ambassadors in the program, who are the people who answer questions about registration and things of that type. Bringing all of those together and giving them all a real thorough knowledge of really what college is, so that they can convey that to these in most cases, first-generation college students, and be able to help them regardless of the question that comes up. They may come in for a math tutoring session and then suddenly have a question about registration or a program of study. It would be great if our tutors could answer that question, or at least direct them to the correct source. So by creating this coordinated sort of conceptual center, I believe that we will have better results. And the second part of that, follow-up of that, is that we have to measure those results. So we've begun initiating in phases some of these programs, specific linked courses, which are in effect cohorts of students, and we can look at the results of those students during that semester. But more importantly, since the goal is completion of a program of study, or completion to the point of transfer or finishing a certificate, we need to know what happens that next semester to those students. Do they continue to use the services? Do they continue to perform well? If not, is it because they dropped one particular service or another? Or if so, is it because they found the right match of services for their needs? And if we can get that information, or rather we have the information ultimately, if we can collect it cohesively, analyze it, ask the right questions, I think we can make the right improvements.
So in essence, sort of the first semester is giving students the knowledge that they need for college resources.
Right.
And then you want to measure their own motivation in the sense to follow up and use that for subsequent
we also
for the rest of the pathway.
Absolutely. We want to know that they continue to use the services. There's data that shows that students who come to a tutorial center, say once a week for a semester, improve. But suddenly, if they start coming more often than that, their grades go down. There's a pattern. And you can figure out, or you can guess, that it may be because it's becoming a social place instead of a study place, some other reason. But if we can really look at the data and analyze it and then say that we can grow this program needs some revision or things of that nature, then I think we have the best opportunity for really increasing our completion rates.
Now, are you going to be working with student support services, counseling and stuff with this?
Oh,
because
absolutely.
I know that it's, I mean, I think it's a blended thing, because students, I mean, they're there to support students, and so
Right.
I know that those two sides of the houses don't always talk to each other.
We're talking to each other extensively. We have some of the first cohorts we put together were a combination of a basic skills level English course, writing course, reading course, and a guidance course, so that the students are then getting a package deal of not only these are the skills I need to go through college, but these, or to pass a writing course, but I know how they translate into other courses or into transfer or whatever it is the goals are.
Have you thought about this and trying to find more information about why students aren't using the services or don't subsequently use them? Are you gathering information from the students or from other?
There are a couple of possibilities. That one is that there's a not sufficient information out there available to the students.
Like outreach or recruitment for them.
And we have begun working on the brochures and promotional materials, posters. We've created a logo.
Oh, cool.
So the image, the idea of a center is growing gradually. We also know that we don't communicate well enough between the services and the faculty who teach the courses. So we're looking at a communication loop in which the referral form has a place where the student signs that says, yes, it's okay to send,
to tell my instructor
I was here and what we talked about, that kind of thing. And then we will have a greater sense of overall cohesion.
Okay, sounds great.